busy.
So one of your officers...
Can I ask who wants to make the complaint?
Myself.
Okay, what's going on?
So one of your officers, I believe his name is Reese.
A. Reese.
Yeah, A. Reese.
Ruiz?
Ruiz.
R-U-I-Z?
Yep.
Okay.
Over at...
And Papago.
I think I'm familiar with the Boeing call. You guys were up there with the cameras, and then you guys got into it with the security guards.
Well, not really. I mean, they try to violate our rights and stuff.
The security guards were, you guys were off property, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the security guards were coming up to you guys.
Right.
Exactly.
And kind of creating a problem.
Right. Yeah. Oh, they got in our face, bro. But the issue that we're having today was not the security guards; it was the police officers.
Yeah. Okay. What happened with him?
So A.
Ruiz.
Yeah.
Ruiz.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Last call because he was up at Northwood.
Thank you guys for joining. We're here submitting a complaint here with the supervisor.
There were 2 calls that we had up there. Was it the first one or the
second
one?
Second
one.
So,
no issues on the first one?
So the first
No, the guy just peeled off. I mean,
Yeah,
unsafe driving from the get-go. Same guy, just peeled off. You know, they didn't want to talk to us.
So the second one, he ended up like I was trying to like.
What up, guys? As promised, here live, submitting a complaint here for an officer that almost ran Phoenix Cop Watch over.
They go directly to his vehicle, and so he got in, and I walked.
So this is after the incident. You're trying to get.
Yeah, we were trying to talk to the officers. You know, say hey, and actually before they left, they're still talking to the security guards. I said, officers, can we have a word with you, officers? And they just completely ignored us. Walked to the vehicles, came out. As soon as he tried to cross the street, that officer gunned it. He gunned it at him and just broke right in front of him.
It was live.
Can I see it?
You have the other. I'm live right now.
You guys got 3 cameras going, so I'm pretty sure you could cut one of them off.
You wanna? Can you show them?
Yeah, I can show you.
I don't have a break. I don't have as good as you do.
You can go on my channel.
Okay.
So let me ask before we go any further, like how far do you guys want to go in the complaint process?
Well, we want everything documented. We want everything on paper.
Well, so that's where it gets a little like. I noticed that you guys didn't want to give your name to our dispatch, which is cool.
Right.
Because I'm not. I mean, you guys aren't detained by me, so you don't have to give me your name. You guys called me here. If you guys want to do like the formal complaint process, I do have to get your information because for it to go on paperwork, I need a way to follow up with you or investigators to follow up with you if it goes that route.
Yeah, and it'll be his complaint. He'll give you the.
Or there's another way for it to get documented where we don't have to go that full route.
No,
if you guys
I want to go that.
You want to go the full route?
He's a danger to the public.
Okay.
The way that
Yeah, I mean, if it would have been one-time incident, you know what I mean. But you can tell from the
one-time incident.
Right, but
today.
you can tell from the get-go, from the first call, that he was aggressive. He took off. Yeah, both the same 2 guys.
And then he tried to get into our face and realized that if he wasn't.
He came out aggressive after almost running him over. He came out and said, "Get off the road!" And he's crossing.
Film if it wasn't just one of us.
Yeah, is there any way I can see the film?
Yeah, he's gonna pull up the film.
Also, if I send this up, they might need a copy of this. Would you be able to?
It's published. It's online. It was all live.
What is it, like Facebook?
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So we're trying to.
So this is out on McDowell.
Yep.
Here, right?
So here he's Alex is trying to get in front of him and stop him to talk to him.
Is your body cam running?
I don't have a body cam.
No body cam?
Sergeants don't have them.
You see that?
I am audio recording.
All right, that's cool.
See, he had to squeal his tires to stop.
Now let me ask you, was he, and I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm not justifying anything because I do take complaints serious and I want to look into it. Do you think that he was just trying to...
Oh, he gunned it, bro.
Right, but do you think maybe he was just trying to get out of there because he didn't want to deal with you guys
Probably.
anymore? Or do you think he was just trying... Like me, I don't think he's trying to hit you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's trying to get out of there because...
But that's not it's not a good justification.
I agree with you 100%. 100%.
Absolutely, he was trying to get out of
there. Yeah, he's trying to get out of there. And I understand where people, like... I have a little different approach as a sergeant because... I don't mind you guys videotaping. I've been doing this job long enough.
Well,
like
none of you guys should. None of you guys should.
And I never do. The only way that it's a problem is if it conflicts with our actual investigation.
Right. If we interfere with your
safety.
right.
Absolutely.
Correct. Right. But the fact is, I mean, if you were on that call and we weighed you down, hey man, hey, all we want to do is submit a get your name and badge number so we have a clear record of who showed up, what happened.
No, I get
you know what I mean?
that.
And that's all we try to do. And I said, I will be in cordial to him.
What would, because when I do a complaint, what would your guys' complaint be about, reference him?
Well,
would it be discourteousness or?
No, I mean, that was just one. I mean,
was he professional?
No, not at all, not even close.
So what would be your complaint?
I mean, if on the video shows, man, and we were there live, he gunned it to try to get out.
So what I'm asking is, like, when I do a complaint, is there anybody in the car?
There's somebody there.
She said she was waiting on somebody.
Okay. Yeah. She's not related to you?
No.
Okay. My thing would be, what would your complaint on him be for? Like what do you want me? Reckless driving? Yeah. Reckless driving has to entail a couple of specific things. You need 3 moving violations.
How about failure to yield?
Yeah. Failure to yield?
To a pedestrian.
To yield to a pedestrian. Because he had the right of way to cross, and all he was going to do was cross.
He was walking across to get to the driver.
Which would be a civil violation. Right.
So I mean, let me reverse that question for you, because you probably know a lot more of what this could entail. So if you witness, you know, kind of what we just showed you, where this guy is just, like you said, maybe just trying to leave.
So we're looking
but
at
he just
not a
guns
cop.
No.
We're looking at it like an engineer's leaving Boeing. Somebody's getting ready to
Well,
cross,
it shouldn't be different.
Yeah.
Would there be a difference? What's the difference between the two?
It should be the same.
Well, honestly, there's no difference because the police department, we have to follow. We are allowed to violate civil driving statutes in the course of our duty, depending on what we're going.
Right. If you're on a call, if we're on a call,
so code 3 driving, right? Lights and sirens.
Right.
We're allowed to forego certain.
But he wasn't code 3.
No, and that's what I'm saying. There's certain civil statutes that we're allowed to violate that we're protected in the course of our duty, whether we're responding to an emergency. We're allowed to go above the speed limit if we're going to a call that's like a domestic violence call, stuff like that, right? So when it comes to the police, yes, we do get a little more leniency when it comes to civil driving. Now, it may not pertain to this exact
I don't think it does. I really don't think it does.
So what we're looking at is civil. Me, personally, the way I would handle that call, and this has nothing to do with the fact that it was a cop. If I saw that, if I was driving by on McDowell and I saw that, I would make a stop on the car, I would ID who it is, and I would want him. I really wouldn't give him a ticket. Personally, I am not a ticket writer. The last ticket I wrote was 3.5 years ago for speeding. And that was the first ticket I had written since like 3.5 years before that. So
honestly,
that's not my jive. Like, I'm not big into the civil stuff.
Honestly, though, my viewers think that he was very unprofessional and shouldn't be an officer.
I really thought he was going to get hit, man. Like, the fear of him getting hit was real, bro. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's why we want to submit a complaint.
He's a danger to the public, his attitude. He needs to be suspended.
So what do you, I don't think it's going to go a suspension route.
But we just need something on record for him.
Okay. So that's why I'm saying, is this a formal complaint?
Yes.
It's
record, or is it I need to send him to training and document this in his workstation file?
You need to send him to training.
And document this in his workstation file? Okay. Because that's something I can handle on my level. Okay. You guys wouldn't have to deal with it anymore. I've seen the video.
No, I need it in person. I need both. I need him retrained, and I need it on file because
it would be on file. Okay. So his workstation file is his permanent file where we document things.
And would I be able to FOIA that and it'll show up?
I'm sorry?
Would I be able to request public record request that?
You can do public record requests on anybody's workstation file. Okay. So you know, basically what my plan would be is we have our driving instructors, okay? It would be to sit down and do a counseling, to send them to our driving instructors, and then to document it in his workstation file that we discussed it. And then what we like to do, as you would with like any job, is what is it called? Now the names escape. Progressive discipline. I'm sure you guys have heard of progressive discipline. So basically, if we document something and then we see that he does something very similar, and we did the counseling, we sent him to training, we documented it in his workstation file. Well, if he does the same thing in a matter of a couple months, it's like, okay, now we're actually having a problem, so then we take the next step, and then the next step. So I think we're at this level, because personally, we haven't had any problems with him. He may have been having a bad day. He may have been fed up with dealing with you guys.
Probably.
Well, he didn't even deal with us.
We're frustrated with the security guards there, because we told them the first time to knock that shit off.
Oh, really?
Yes, we told them, hey, you guys are on a public right-of-way. You have every right to videotape, and we told them after that first call not to contact you guys.
See, but
again. So he's, because I talked to him on the phone before I came here, And he was more frustrated with the Boeing employees, and he just wanted to get out of there. And yes, the driving was a little bit dangerous.
And he felt
squealing the tires.
Both of them.
Yeah, I mean, the problem here is he's not dealing with us, the public. You know, and he should. We pay his salary. We employ you guys.
I called out his phone number several times.
Again, all we wanted to do was get a name and badge number. And again, we were very cordial at first. Said officers, hey, officers. You know, we waved at them. You know, and they completely ignored
his name and badge number?
No, they failed to.
Yeah, it was Paniagua. There we go. Paniagua and.
Did they give you their badge number?
No, either one.
That's something I need to talk to them about too. Yeah. We're not required to write it down.
Right.
But we are required to verbalize it too.
Correct.
Do you guys need mine?
Yes.
Yes.
Lavin, Lavin, badge number is 17496.
Awesome.
I am a brand new supervisor, so.
No, you know what? I mean, we have respect. We have respect for what you guys do. We're not there to antagonize what you guys do, but at the end of the day, man.
For the most part, like, I get the bad rap that a lot of police officers get,
especially Mesa.
Yeah, we've had our share of it, but I will say the vast majority of us are very good police officers, and I, on occasion, have had some bad days where I've come across pretty unpolite to the public, and it's nothing personal. I've had, you know, we see some of the worst of the worst of the worst. Sometimes we have a bad day like everybody else.
And everybody's entitled to one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's why I'm willing to address this with them, because we're all human. We've all made mistakes. We're not all the best. And you guys are well within your rights to.
I think at the end of the day, though, we should get something documented.
It is going to be.
Something
it is going to be.
The problem that we're having, though, we have a bad day. We end up in jail or potentially facing several fines, whereas you guys just get smacked on the head.
In reference to what?
Like anything that you do, like you're allowed to break laws and codes, and you'll just get a slap on the wrist. Whereas, like if I did that to one of you guys, I'd go to jail for a long time.
You got to be a little more specific.
If I revved my engine and came at one of your officers, that would have been attempted aggravated assault.
Well, so that's a different story, though. If you guys are saying that you think he tried to run you over versus just trying to get out of there, at first you guys, like, it looked like he was just trying, like, one person was getting ready and he's like, no, I just want to get out of here.
I think he was upset at the situation and let emotions get to him, but I think he was like, I think he was trying to scare me, honestly, which that's.
Watching the video, I mean, to me, it just like he was just trying to get out of there. That's what I think. Now, should he have let you guys cross? Yes. Yeah, he should have.
Well, no.
He should have. Well, first of all, when you guys are trying to flag him down, he should have went and talked to you.
Exactly.
Okay? Secondly, you know, let you guys cross the street, okay, and then go.
You know what?
Shouldn't have been trying to get out.
At the end of the day, man, we really appreciated them, even though they didn't serve us. Yeah. We were very appreciative that they went and educated the security guards, because those security guards were super aggressive with us, man. They walked up to me right here.
We weren't upset with you guys at all. We get it. We weren't upset with you guys at all. We were upset with the security guards. And I think the anger that you were seeing was more geared towards the security guards, and he was tired of dealing with it and wanted to get out of there. It didn't pertain to you. In fact, when he called me on the phone after I got dispatched this call, he even said, like, I have no problem with them. I'm not mad at them. Like, he was frustrated of dealing with these security guards twice after telling them the first time, hey, they can be there to call us back again. Because it
was a different set of security guards.
And we were getting ready to cancel the call, and then the security guard said, well, we're being threatened. So I was like, okay, well, now we have to, so now we have to go out. So you see where that is? I mean, that's why you had a second.
Well, you know what? They did get threatened. They got threatened with an education, and they didn't like it. I said, they're going to come out here and educate you, and they didn't like it.
This is going to be documented, okay? This is going to be documented.
So how do I get a record of that documentation?
Just a Freedom of Information Act
Just a FOIA request?
Yeah, you can do, go down to our Mesa Police records and say, hey, I'd like to get a copy of the workstation file.
How long until it's up?
Well, I'll do it today.
Okay, so yeah, so if I go anytime after tomorrow, it should be already on file?
I would wait a week just to make sure that everything is updated, because I don't know how our quality assurance system works, just so that you guys get there and, like, may not get it. And then you can see what I wrote in there and what plans we have to take. We're more along the lines of taking just a progressive discipline stance here and see if we see this continuing behavior.
Exactly.
I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I even do the same thing when I'm interacting with citizens. Like most of our domestic violence calls we go on is a couple arguing, and that happens a lot. Like everybody gets into argument with their spouses, right? So when we show up, DV laws stipulate that you don't have to be a victim and you can make an arrest. Well, if we went and arrested every single person that got into an argument, I mean, there's no way to do that. So we usually give people like, hey, you know, you cannot, you can't argue like that, because if it disturbs your neighbors, then it's disorderly conduct. So if this continues, then we're going to come back and we're going to have to arrest somebody. So that's typically the, like, we try and go that route as much as we can, a progressive discipline.
Right. Yeah, I think it's super important to have.
It's
super important to have these incidents documented, because at the end of the day, if he does this 10 times and the 11th report, you know,
look,
11th person reports
I'm a big. I served in the military. I'm a big advocate for rights. We get a lot of calls where somebody's like, hey, there's a guy walking down the street with a gun. I'm like, okay, is he waving it around?
Yeah,
no.
It's Arizona.
Did he threaten somebody with it? No. I get on the radio and I'm like, we're canceling that. Nobody's going to that. Yeah. We have no reason to go talk to that guy.
Because it's just going to make you put you guys in a bad position.
There are a lot of people with that same mindset as me that do this job. A lot of people.
It's the problem that it's the guys that think that's still old school. You know what I mean? That don't think progressively, that don't, you know, get with the program.
I don't even think it's like progressive. It's just common sense.
Well,
it's common sense.
That's even harder to come by for some people.
You got to look at common sense. And that's kind of the approach I'm trying to take on this, is a common sense approach.
And if you look at it that way, it works. It's the problem is when you let your emotions play out more than your common sense. It's when we run into this type of issues.
Exactly.
But 100%. I mean, I'm glad it's going to be documented. We'll come and do the FOIA, and we'll get the ethics.
If you guys have any more problems with him, or I notice any more problems with him, then we'll progress. Okay. So it's going to be documented in his workstation file. Okay. So it stays there. It can't get deleted. So it'll be a paragraph written up about like the issues that you guys saw, kind of what I said to him. I'll reach out to our driving folks.
I'm not so worried about myself, but other people in the community. Things happen, and it was reckless. Say if it was a kid.
Okay.
He might not have been able to see a kid go by.
Yeah, we really just want justice now. We want to make sure we're out here for the people. We're out here for everyone.
I have no problem discussing this with him and making sure that something like that doesn't happen again.
And like I said, everyone's entitled to a bad day, man. And just don't make a career out of it.
He's not even my officer, but I'll handle it. So, all right, guys. Is there anything else I can do?
Do you have a business card by chance?
I don't. I don't even have my like normal cards, but hopefully.
Well, you're brand new, so that's why.
Well, I've been doing this for 12 years, but I'm a brand new sergeant.
Okay.
So
Well,
I actually worked right before this. I did community action jobs, so I dealt a lot with the community engagement aspect of the job. And putting together like a homeless outreach program and a bunch of other things. So, like, I get it. You know,
those are good things, man. We like to see.
We're trying to stem away from this, like.
Well, Mesa has a horrible reputation. I mean, I'm sure you're aware of that. Mesa has a horrible reputation across the nation.
And it's going to sound bad coming from me, because it's going to sound like I'm partial to the Mesa Police Department. We're actually a really good department. We really are. And sometimes, as with any company or anybody else, there's always a downfall. There's always somebody, right? Like you hear about
one bad apple.
Yeah, you hear about you hear about an engineer that sells off secrets over to Russia. Well, that's a bad company. Or you hear about, well, all politicians are bad, but that's a different discussion, you know. Like, and then there's a lot of medical malpractice that happens. Well, not all doctors are bad, you know. A teacher goes and sexually abuses a child. Well, not all teachers are like that. It's the same aspect, right? And we do weed out our bad apples.
So
that's and I know you're saying that, but the problem is we the people experience it a little bit different. We've seen bad officers get promoted. I've
experienced it as an officer acting as a citizen.
Well,
I've come across.
We also see good officers not taking action on bad officers.
I was this close to filing a complaint on a police officer as a police officer.
You should, man. You should. You should be able to.
Close, but I like to give. Oh, and I'm allowed to, but I just I'm done. I'm gonna drive off. Like, I was treated very rudely, and I was like, and when I drove away from that, I was like, God only knows how if he treats me like that, knowing I'm a cop in this situation, how is he treating the general public? And it's stuff like that that I get kind of jades the public, and it changes public perception and we are trying to get better at that. And there's a lot of stuff that we're doing that's good, and hopefully you guys start to see it.
We were talking to a homeowner earlier where he was actually burglarized at his home. Called the police, cops showed up and started yelling, "Who are you? Get in!" He told them, "I'm the homeowner." He said, "Well, sit in your car across the street." And I mean, he's like, "Man, I felt like I'm the criminal."
So on that, there's certain tactics that a lot of the citizens won't know, especially if it was dispatched as an emergency call. We show up fast with a lot of information, and if they're saying like, hey, somebody's breaking into this home, and we get there and there's somebody in front, we're gonna treat it as if it's a bad guy. So a lot of it is, hey, we're trying to secure the stuff, and then it's, okay, let's backtrack. You're the homeowner.
But you gotta have that. You gotta have that relationship with the community. I mean, you can't come in abusive from the get-go. That's a problem.
No, and their intent is not to be abusive.
Right.
Our intent is to make a scene safe, to protect ourselves. As you guys know, I mean, you watch the news, it's dangerous, man, and it's getting more and more dangerous. You see these active shooters.
Imagine how we feel, man. It's dangerous for us to be out here doing this, and we got no guns and no, you know what I mean? We should, but you know what? I like to give the benefit of the doubt, and I like to use these as protection. But I'm old school, man.
I tell everybody, I'm a firearms instructor. Yeah. I tell everybody I come across in the public, I'm like, as long as you're not a felon, I'm like, you should be carrying a gun.
I like to use my left and my right knuckles. I'm old school. That's how I protect myself.
I don't carry firearms because of one of your officers. So I moved from Washington, which you probably understand the gun laws up there.
Yeah.
I don't.
They're really,
thank you.
Thanks for coming out, man.
Okay.
Sergeant, thank you for your time.
Are you leaving? Okay.
Thank you.
You got it.
Have a good night.
All right.
So, yeah, basically they passed these really strict gun laws.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
So I didn't know that I don't have to say that I'm carrying a firearm at a traffic stop.
You only do that if an officer asks you.
Okay.
That's the way the law is written. If you're concealing a weapon on yourself during a traffic stop, and a traffic stop constitutes even like a stop of your person. So let's say you're lurking around a business after hours and we stop you. If we ask you, are you concealing a weapon? You are required to say, yes, I have one.
Okay.
So a lot of times it depends.
Only if you're asked.
Yeah, and a lot of times it depends on what the stop is, whether or not the officer will actually temporarily confiscate that weapon from you. So like, I mean, if it's a call that's somewhat dangerous in nature, they might take it from you for a second. Okay. Me personally, I feel every situation out. A lot of times I'll leave the gun on the person. So and I'll just stress to them, like, and I'll actually,
because we're not all criminals, man.
And a lot of times I'll give the person the choice, because I'll say, hey, I see that you've got a gun. I'm fine interacting with you, but the instant I see your hand go to that gun, then we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, the story will change.
So you have the choice. Either I can take that gun and go put it in my car, so we're good, or you can keep it on you. But just realize, you know, the threat level. Yeah. And that's where I stand. But everybody has a different way of doing things.
Yeah, and we've seen some aggressive stuff, man. Again, and what we're doing is we're trying to breach this separation, man, because right now the public and the police are very separated from each other. Well, there's no trust.
What I have been stressing in my briefings, because we brief daily, is that you can still maintain safety up here in dealing with you guys. But the whole name of the game is threat assessment, you know. So you got your hands in your pockets, but you don't have them in your pocket.
Yeah, they're kind of.
But you don't have them in your pocket. But you don't have them in your pockets in a
Thumbs
way
are still out.
Right, that it looks like you're digging for something, right? So everything is a threat assessment. You gauge everything where you're at. You guys aren't a threat to me.
Right.
But I still have contingency plans up here in case you decide that I'm going to fold up this tripod and I'm going to use it as a weapon, right? So you can still be very professional with people,
right,
interact with people, and still have contingency plans to stay safe. Absolutely. You don't have to be a hard-knuckled
right, and bruiser. we're all really like that. I mean, you know, we should all watch out for each other, watch out for yourself, love that neighbor, you know what I mean? Everybody should watch out for everyone.
I hate to cut things off. I haven't gone to the bathroom in quite a while. Do you guys need anything else, or are you good with me heading in so I can use the bathroom?
No, so what we're going to do is, so you're going to write the report.
It's not a report. It's not a report. It's a workstation file entry.
Now, I don't know, man. I kind of think we should do a...
Yeah.
Because we want something documented.
It is documented.
Right, but we want something documented.
It is. You know what I mean? It would be documented on your behalf.
So I'm gonna wait, and then if say 2 weeks or 3 weeks down the road, I'm not able to FOIA it. So with your department, so I've been given information like phone numbers, and then I call it, and
For what?
for just information or trying to get a hold of a certain officer. It's more the main station on Robson, but
you're looking for a specific officer.
well, that or I'm looking to get a hold of. I was actually surprised that they sent you out because usually they usually they kind of flake on you. I've noticed for Mesa PD. You call and you get a number that just rings and rings and rings, or goes straight to voicemail, and then you call it back in a week, and it's.
So just so you know, you can Google it and look it up. Our internal affairs section, they changed their name to professional standards. You can file an online complaint there, or there is a phone number you can call if you ever want to file a complaint on a police officer you interact with. Then they basically write up your complaint and send it electronically through the chain of command. So that's an option for you guys to
So can we do
too.
that with you now?
If that's the route that you absolutely want to take, we can do it. I was just hoping to handle it at a supervisor level, just given the fact that I haven't had any problems with this guy. He's usually
Because if we do a written
good.
complaint, it'll still be handled by you, right?
Yeah.
Or his supervisors.
It would probably be handled by his but since I'm here talking to you guys, I would end up handling it.
Maybe it's better to.
And it would, and I'm going to tell you right now, it would generally go the same route. With me doing that, it just requires me to do a lot more paperwork.
I hate to put you through it, man, but I think we're going to have to go that route.
Because if you guys want to go that route, I have to complete. Huh? I hate paperwork, dude. There's so much of it. So if you guys want to go that route, I basically start the complaint, I send it up to the top. They're going to send it back down to me, and then I would interview him. I would probably re-interview one of you guys, maybe.
Okay.
And then
I want to go that route.
You want to go that route?
Yeah, I think that's the best route to go with.
The way he's driving, I'm not thinking of myself.
Because in the end, I'm probably going to end up finding it the same way of training and potential progressive, like a written reprimand is what I'm looking at. It just requires a lot more work than me documenting it in his.
Right. I think the biggest difference too.
That's all.
And he won't.
That's how
I think the biggest too is the biggest thing we get to walk away with our heads up high with the complaint. We get something in writing.
All right. So who wants to make it?
It'll be you.
All right. I don't have anything to write with, but I'm audio recording. Can you? Well, I got a pen. I forgot
not
my
a notepad?
Yeah, I forgot my little card.
So how about I go to the main precinct where I can file a complaint for him?
You can actually do it online.
Okay.
So if you go home, just.
Well, I prefer to do it in person, so I'll just print it out and go.
So you don't want me to do anything at this point? Because you can do
I'd
it.
rather.
Because you can do it right now, and by the end of tonight, I'll have it in the system. Because otherwise, you're going to deal with somebody else, and it's going to create more time. I can start it tonight, and start working on it and have it done by the end of this week. Yeah. Otherwise,
that way we'll give it about a week or two, and then we'll come and do any kind of FOIA to see.
Yeah, and just based on the video I watched and talking to you guys, I'll interview him, but it's going to look like just a.
Yeah, and we have it
it's a training issue.
We have it in 3 different angles, so I'm sure we can submit all 3 different angles, so you can kind of get a better picture of what really happened.
All right.
So we're for sure gonna FOIA.
You're gonna what?
FOIA his record, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I'll go that route, and then if that FOIA is not there in like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll submit it.
Are you guys still going live?
Oh, it's been.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm going to ask for some personal information, so I don't. know
yeah, we'll mute it. We have the ability to mute.
Go off, so I don't want that broadcast everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're going to keep rolling, just mute it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and mute guys for a second. He's gonna give some private information here.
I'm just giving my first name. Alex.
I would. Feel
no,
free to
I'm
stay
good.
on the property if you want. Just can't go through the gates.
Right, right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
All right, guys.
Alex?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Take care. Be
right.
safe out there. I do highly recommend that you guys carry a gun.
All right. Yeah, I will.
Because you don't want anything bad to be.
Yeah.
Especially like going into dirty parts of cities, man.
Yeah. Oh man, we've been through some tough parts of Phoenix.
I stopped carrying
Glendale,
because I'm
Mesa.
always in Phoenix, and so the MO is domestic violence, someone with a gun. So someone with a gun, then they get shot dead.
Yeah.
So that's been the MO, and obviously you
guys can both carry concealed. You're not felons, right?
No.
No.
Yeah, you guys can both carry concealed without a permit.
But the problem is, I'd rather not have a gun on me because then it puts me in the position where I'm a threat automatically to them. Say
to who?
To the Phoenix Police.
Oh.
So they have a habit of shining their spotlights in our face, and I hope your officers aren't doing the same.
No.
So.
We usually return a favor, which is not very pretty, but I carry a pretty bright.
Yeah.
Like, man, to be perfectly honest, I and it's gonna say I don't care what you guys do.
Go ahead and go.
You guys have every right in the world to be doing what you're doing, and
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
I don't have any animosity towards you or.
And we don't either, man. We don't
any of
hold
your viewers, none whatsoever.
And I like your style of leadership, so
Thanks, man.
I respect.
I appreciate that,
I hope there's more of you in Mesa.
Well, I feel like this stuff does need to be done to a certain degree, and I think it needs to be done over in DC right now too. Like, you got to hold people accountable,
exactly.
and that's what I'll do.
And just like we're being held accountable by you guys on the street, right? If we run over a stop sign, we're held accountable. We're given a ticket. Yeah. You know, we got to go to court.
Well, not by me. I don't like writing tickets.
Well, I mean, but we're held accountable to that standard. So all we do is we just return the favor.
All right. Well, you guys stay safe.
Yeah.
I hope nothing happens.
All right.
Especially being in those rough parts.
You stay safe too. I understand it's a really dangerous job.
Oh, it's getting worse and worse, man. It's getting worse and worse. Only 8 more years and then I can retire.
Hey, there it is, man.
I think I'll stay longer. If I buy back some of my military time, then I can leave earlier. So.
Cool.
All right,
well,
you guys good?
Thanks for your help, man. We'll be doing that for you.
I'll get to work on it. And again, feel free to stay if you want. Just in none of the gates. And that's all we ask.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good one. All right. So there you guys have it, man. So we did. All right. So we submitted a complaint. He doesn't have anything to write down with. He took everything verbally. He's recording everything. So he's going to submit an official complaint for us.
And we're going to FOIA
and
later.
he said it's going to take about a week. So FOIA it in about a week. And so we can present that to you guys. But that's going to stay in his record, in his permanent record. You guys got to watch it live. If you haven't seen it, go back to my channel, see what happened. Two different interactions with the same 2 cops. Both times unprofessional. Second time almost ran Phoenix Cop Watch over. So there's no way we were going to walk away with him. I mean, I know he tried his tactics. He tried to convince us otherwise.
Officer
it ain't going to happen, guys. We need something in writing.
Officer Reese?
A. Reese was the officer, and then the other one was like Papa something. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and FOIA that in about a week's time, week and a half. See what all he put on the report. And then possibly, take it to professional standards, submit video evidence of what happened. And again, the goal of this is to have something permanent in his record. If he's done this 10 times in the past and nobody's reported it, this will be his first incident. So it doesn't matter about the last 10 times he did it. This will be his first incident on file.
The community needs to
hopefully everybody needs to start submitting this complaint so that we can have these on file. If we go request public information on an officer and he has 10 of these, we got a problem. We got a problem that's got to get addressed right now. So that's what the goal of doing this report today was.
He's better than a lot of officers, but still there were some things that...
All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I appreciate it. You guys hanging out with us and seeing kind of how our day was. We started off in Glendale and ended up here in Mesa. Did a little bit of Tempe as well. That one I just went static. But I appreciate you guys being here with us. It's your support and your love is amazing. It keeps us really motivated and really going. So thank you guys for everything. And Arizona Auditor checking out. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night.